Hello and welcome to a in-pencil reaction, which is the first time we've ever done one of these. I'm Adam,
I'm Jess.
and we're going to be talking about the top 25 Gotee Records albums of all time, as listed by JesusFreakHideout.com, which is one of the main Christian music websites in existence. So I guess we can just kind of go through the list, give our thoughts on each one, and then
Yeah.
summarize at the end.
Quick note, I don't know about Adam, I think so. I definitely was a big Gotee Records fan back in the day. I feel like I've had this conversation with some people that if you were a typical Christian type person, you listened to Forefront. That was the label you liked.
Right.
If you were a cool Christian, you listen to Gotee Records. And if you're actually a cool Christian and not just one who wanted to pretend to be a cool Christian, then you listen to Tooth and Nail.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell a lot. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Wow,
Yeah.
that was amazing. But yeah, there are like a few essential. I forgot essential. But there are a few major Christian labels, and Gotee is the popular cool kids Christian label.
Yeah,
I think.
founded by Toby Mac and Joey Elwood, Ton Collins. And so, yeah, let's just go into this real quick. Let's see what this looks like.
Let's go into this tea.
So it opens with a mono versus stereo release. I can never pronounce the name of this band, Des Vale. I don't know.
I don't know this band at all.
This album wasn't, I mean, it's okay. I mean, for being in 25, it's okay. Yeah, this was a mono versus stereo. And for those of people that don't know what mono versus stereo is, it's basically a sub-label run by Reliant K. So that's where this one comes from. Fine, 25 is fine, I suppose.
It's a number.
Yes, it is. And then LA Symphony at number 24 with The End Is Now.
I'm just going to point out we're going to do some foreshadowing, but if this were number 25, it would be much cooler.
Yeah.
With some bookends of the name of the album. So we're giving away what number one is, if you know already.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair enough. So I think LA Symphony released 2 albums on Gotee, if I remember correctly. There's this one and then Disappear Here. But Disappear Here, I think, was a better album than this one, which Disappear Here doesn't even appear on this list. But yeah, Pigeon John.
Are you saying it's disappeared?
Yeah, along with some other glaring omissions we'll talk about. As far as Christian hip-hop goes, as far as hip-hop in general goes, this is a really good pick. And I'm surprised to see it on here because I thought that everybody kind of forgot about LA Symphony and Mars Hill and all the other artists that are on this list.
Jesus Freak Hideout did not forget about Mars Hill.
No, they did not. It's not. They're on here twice, I think. Showdown is a mediocre rock band who probably deserves to be towards the bottom of the list, if on here at all, with consideration for the omissions. Yeah, they were a Solid State band. That's what I remember them as. I don't really remember them much.
I don't even know what Solid State is.
Solid State's like a sub-label of Tooth and Nail for like more hardcore bands like who else is on Solid State? Sleeper, and I think As Cities Burns was on there. Just more like screamo, Under Oath type band. I think Under Oath was on Solid State too for some time. But yeah, so okay. We got Jeff Deo.
It wouldn't be Sonic. The 90s or early 2000s Christians without Jeff Deo.
Yeah, with More Love, More Power. And okay, I guess, for a worship artist from Sonic Flood. But Sonic Flood, including this release, makes the list 3 times, I believe.
Sonic Flood floods the list. I'm just here for my quibs.
Right, no, fair enough. So our first female artist is on the list here, Sarah Kelly, with an album that I've never listened to. so I have no opinion on this.
I've never heard of her, so I have no opinion.
Yeah, no opinion. This band I've never heard of before. No opinion. Anything on this?
Same. I don't know them.
All right, skip. Marzil, Backbreakonomics. This album is great.
What?
Yeah, this album is great. Yeah, I'm glad to see this on here. I thought that everyone had forgotten about these guys. So, again, as far as hip hop goes and Christian hip hop, good pick. And the thing with Marzil and LA Symphony and some of the other hip hop artists on Gotee, as opposed to other Christian hip hop artists in the same vein, these guys are not preachy like at all. Like if you listen to like Lecrae or any other sort of like main cross movement, any other mainstream Christian act, they're very preachy. But Marzil and LA Symphony and Pigeon John and John Rubin are not. But then 18, we have Out of Eden, which is okay.
Yes. Out of Eden making their, I believe, only appearance on this list at number 18. Out of Eden, which Gotee Records was basically founded to sign the band that held them together in the early days. No love for Out of Eden.
I don't remember how many albums they had on Gotee.
3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, but I don't remember listening to this one. And then, yeah, okay.
I was not an Out of Eden fan, but I just wasn't in that style of music at the time. But that doesn't mean I mean, I do understand that they are
they're significant,
very important, and also very underappreciated. And once they, I guess, broke up, right? They just stopped. Is that what happened?
I'm not completely sure. I didn't follow them very closely. It's just, I mean, it's good to see them on the list at all, considering other omissions. So, this is a disappointment. I'm actually really sad about this being as low as it is. The Boy versus the Cynic,
which is, in my opinion, his best album. I haven't listened to all of John Rubin's albums, but The Boy versus the Cynic actually gets into some really, really serious stuff. I felt like,
for a Gotee record with as much substance as it has and as a diverse production as it has, and lyricism and just songwriting in general. The beats on here are pretty awesome and kind of rock influenced. I completely missed the mark with putting this as low down the list as it is.
If you have not listened to The Boy versus the Cynic, it's the one album you probably should listen to on this list that I can think of. Definitely.
Yeah.
Listen to them all, maybe. I don't know. Some of them I don't really know anything about.
But they put Word of Mouth above The Boy versus the Cynic, which I slightly disagree with, because I think I understand why. I think it's because of this guy. He was the producer, and I think he worked with Beck at some point. So he kind of was like, I guess this was like his attempt to like go mainstream, more or less, John Rubin. And so the music on here is really different from anything that he had done before this. But placing it ahead of The Boy versus the Cynic, I think misses the mark. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, if I listed my John Rubin albums, The Boy versus the Cynic is number 1, and I think number 2 might be what is the name of that album?
Are We There Yet?
No. Professional Rapper?
Or Hindsight? Which one?
Which one was the one that has Life is Short?
Professional Rapper.
Yeah, I like that one. That one had some pretty good serious songs on it as well, I felt.
But both of those albums don't make the list.
Yeah. I think Are We There Yet is a great first album for John Rubin, but it's not his best.
Yeah, I think it probably should have been on this list instead of Word of Mouth. But
and then we get to a band I know nothing about. So
I don't think I ever had this album, but I've listened to it before. I'm not a big fan of these guys. okay. I have no opinion. Same with this band. Again,
Yeah.
second time on the list, ahead of anything from John Rubin or Reliant K or
No, it's not ahead of Reliant K.
I mean other more important albums by Reliant K
Oh yeah,
that didn't make the list specifically
and
to
Out of
us.
Eden.
Yeah, and out of Eden.
And one artist we're getting to, at least one
That's
artist that's missing. We keep
yeah,
alluding to that.
yeah,
This is actually, I think, a good spot for the Art of Translation.
yeah,
It's a good album. It's not a great album, but it's a good album, and it was fun. It's a fun album.
yeah. The best song on this album, I believe, is "Believe," featuring our omission.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was on that album. Man, that was a great song.
Yeah, but they put
This,
that above this, or they put
yeah,
this above that. So
I will say, like, Grammatical Revolution was got me into grits,
mhm.
and oh my goodness, it was changing for me to hear an album like that. You got, for me, I don't know about for you. Most of the Christian rap I heard was by white artists, and
Right.
it wasn't. It was, and it's okay, especially in the '90s. It was very. Just think what DC Talk, their rap songs, and that's okay, but no substance. Um, and to hear grits where it was like, oh wait, this is different. uh this is talking about very different things, and they have a lot of different insight because they're not white artists, they're black artists, and um they're, it's not like white artists coming in and taking the music of black artists like we can get into. They're doing this music, and it was different and it was good, and I don't know what else how to say that.
I think it's a good placement for both of those albums to
Yeah,
be on the list. I just would have swapped the order, but
yeah.
I mean that's nitpicky. Um, I was
uh
really surprised to see this on the list, to be honest.
be
Um,
honest, I forgot about this band.
well, this is a hip hop group made up of it's Marzil and then several other people.
Oh, it was I knew very little of it. I just heard the name. I forgot they existed.
Yeah,
I
this
was
is
like, oh,
but
it
this
was
album
one of,
is awesome.
yeah, it's one of those, how many bands had five in their name? Weren't there a bunch of bands back in
Like
the day that
Family
had,
Force 5 and Jurassic 5
yeah,
and yeah.
it was there are probably five bands that had five in their name.
But yeah, this was a surprise to see. I'm really glad it's here. I wouldn't put it above Grits or John Rubin, but I'm glad that it's here, and I'm glad it wasn't forgotten about. Some of these albums, I check Spotify, and some of these albums you can't even find on streaming services. So I still have the CDs, but
Yeah.
yeah, worth looking at if you're into rap music.
I don't know this band.
I think this was like a predecessor to Sonic Flood. What is this?
Look at who Mark Lee Townsend was in
Yeah,
Zilch. Huh. I know
I
nothing
don't
about this
know.
band, but I know who that is.
Yeah. Why don't you guys make a record as a DC Talk band? Okay. Yeah, I've never heard this before.
Yeah,
So
I know
I might
nothing
check
about
this
it.
out. If it's good, I may check it out and see what this is all about. I think I've seen this cover before, but I've never really looked
Tell
at
somebody to tell somebody. Sorry.
it.
Some of y'all got what I was saying.
Yeah.
And
So
here we go, our first Reliant K album.
right. So when we did our Reliant K ranking, I think we both put this at the bottom or towards the bottom
Yeah,
for
both of
Reliant
us had
K
it
albums.
toward the bottom. Behind, what was the album that everybody hated? Collapsible Lung.
Yeah.
I think we both had it below Collapsible Lung.
Yeah, Class Belong is actually towards the top for me. But seeing this on here at number 9 as a mono versus stereo release, as much as it's not that this is a bad album. It's not that it's a bad album at all. It's that it isn't better than the Reliant K albums that were omitted in its place.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
it's a good solid album. Does it? If it was on this list, I would have it toward like
Toward the
the
end.
20s.
Yeah.
And there would be
Yeah.
at least, I think, like 6 albums I'd put above it.
Yeah, like every other Reliant K album
Yeah,
above it.
6. There might be one that I wouldn't.
But the fact they picked a mono versus stereo release as opposed to the Gotee releases like 5 Score or Two Lefts or even the self-titled, just kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure what the thought process is here, but I'm glad that Reliant K is on here at least.
Yeah, so. I think they were wanting the more mature stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is weird for what their other Reliant K album on here is.
It is true. They are picking some of the, like with John Rubin, they pick some of the more mature stuff too, as opposed to Professional Rapper or Hindsight. They picked.
Yeah. Which makes me think this has like a bias.
One
of the, there are a few very clear biases, but one of the biases might be toward less fun albums and more serious stuff because they grew up, as whoever came up with this list or whoever worked on it may have grown up with them, with these albums. And of course you kind of, as you grow up and then you stop growing up, the last album that hit the same maturity as you, that's kind of more important now. So it's like, for me, it's hard to go back and listen to the first Reliant K album because it's not as, it doesn't fit me now that I'm in my 30s versus I was a teenager when it came out. But like 5 Score hit, that's kind of where my maturity level hit its adulthood, and that's when 5 Score came out. So that makes more sense. I can go back and listen to that. And they may have the same bias going on.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's a guess. House of Heroes, I know like a very few songs, and I don't know much about this album.
I'm not really a big fan of this band. And since, I mean, this whole list is subjective from both our standpoint as people who are looking at it and the standpoint of the authors. Okay, fine. House of Heroes is on here. That's fine. I'll accept one submission from House of Heroes. I'm cool with that.
You got to have a Sonic Flood, of course.
Default Worship Band.
Yeah, and this Sonic Flood is good as any, I guess.
So what happened here? So Zilch became Sonic Flood, apparently.
Oh, really?
So that's what I thought. I thought they were predecessors to Sonic Flood. I wasn't sure what the thought process was.
I'm still not sure what the thought process in lowercase d at the end. It's always bothered me.
But I mean, it was a pretty well received worship album, and then they had the gold edition, which had like 2 discs or whatever. So, they milked this one pretty heavily. Jeff Deo. This is what I was talking about. So this is what I mean. Okay, so they had Jeff Deo, they had Zilch, and now they have Sonic Flood. So they have 3 submissions from this band, effectively, on this list. And then I'm extremely happy to see 4th Avenue Jones represent on this list. Did you ever listen to this album?
I did not. I wasn't big into 4th Avenue Jones.
This album is awesome. And I tried finding it on Spotify after I saw this list the first time, and it's still not available on streaming services. So I have the CD, but it's back at home. I kind of want to listen to it now. I'm happy to see this here. And I'm happy to see it as far up the list as it is because it's actually a really, really good album. And it's, like it says here, it's sort of a crossover. I mean, these guys were a pretty well-respected hip-hop group in the 90s. And just like LA Symphony and Marzil, they had like a slight Christian leaning, and then they signed to Gotee and put this out. And it's great. So definitely worth checking out. If you go to McKay's, they'll probably have this at McKay's for like $1. So pick it up.
McKay's for the very small group of people who know what McKay's is
in Nashville. Everyone who listens to Christian, everyone who listens to Christian music lives in Nashville anyway. So whatever.
That's probably true.
Did you ever listen to Johnny Q. Public?
Nope.
Me neither.
I've seen the movie. Is it Johnny Q with Keanu Reeves? What is the name of that movie? Never mind. I don't know. I know nothing about extra asterisk ordinary.
I never listened to it. Okay. I know that he was one of their, or this band or whoever this is, was one of their like first artists or whatever from like 95. Yep. So All right, cool. Body B was covered by Reliant K on the 20th anniversary Gotee album. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a good song. So, okay. But number 5, okay, fine. We'll
Sure.
get to that.
I don't know enough about it to say. Here we go. Here's our another 5 band. Family Force 5.
Objectively
I had
terrible.
they are fun in concert.
Yeah.
I will say that much. But outside, I've seen them in concert, I think, twice, a long time
Yeah.
ago. I don't even know if they're still a band. They were fun to watch. Yes. Music was not my style. I get why they'd be up at the top because they were a big band. In this kind of, as you may be able to see, they're kind of in that emo kind of time where you would have like Good Charlotte, Fall Out Boy, Family Force 5, the
But
3 bands that everybody thought about.
no, but this is like this isn't like pop punk. This is like crunk, like what they call that shit? EDM. This is like EDM music.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, that's
or
true.
like
Yeah,
dubstep or something like that. So
I think they went punk, right, at some point, or pop
I
punk.
don't think so. I think they pretty much
It
stayed.
didn't.
No,
Oh, I know.
actually,
I'm mixing them up with another band. Never mind.
yeah.
I just realized what band I'm mixing them up with. Never mind. Not a Gotee band. So Family Force 5. They have the look as pop punk, but they are they are a different blend.
Different blend, yes. Different band and different blend. Absolutely. And they're at number 4. They're pretty high up the list.
Yeah, never mind. So here we go. We got another Mars Hill.
Their best album, I think, and I think it's a good placement. Honestly, this is an awesome album. I don't have any issue with this. I'm fine with it. Mars Hill, number 3, cool.
No, I'm not a big Mars Hill fan. Never listened to him that much. But
although
hey,
I would say putting this above the Art of Translation or The Boy versus the Cynic maybe a little off. I wouldn't put this above any genre album or any Reliant K album for that matter. So,
number
but
2.
here's,
It is number 2.
Yeah.
I will say, if you read the description, they do get into the fact that they don't go after like the obvious, like it has "Be My Escape" on it. That's the best, but it gets into like "Which to Bury Us" or "The Hatchet." Into "Let It All Out" is actually probably this sentence is probably, I would agree with it 100%.
Yeah, I called this out in our list, didn't I?
Yeah,
I think I called this exact sentence, this exact phrase out.
Yeah, it is a great transition, and if you've never listened to it, go find them. You can find at any of your streaming services, I believe.
Yeah,
but it's a great album. It's not my favorite Reliant K album. I would put at least 1. I forgot what number I put it on our list. I would put what did I say? Not their 4th, their 3rd album. 2 Lefts.
Yeah,
and I would put 5 Score above it, but it's a good album. It's also their biggest hit. I think their biggest mainstream.
Yeah, it was our mainstream crossover.
Yeah, they had 2 songs on TRL, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, it was
"Be My Escape" and "Who I Am Hates Who I've Been."
Yeah, precisely. So okay, number 2, Reliant K, good.
Yeah,
I wish
I'm
there were
shocked
more
that they were at number 2.
I still would have swapped out Air for Free for a different choice, but that's kind of so here. This is the biggest disappointment of them all.
The end is not the end, but I thought the end was now. See, there's my foreshadowing throwback.
Right.
So this is probably the House of Heroes album that belongs on here. I don't know much about this album. I've listened to some of it. It's good. It's good for what it is. It's not my favorite, but I like it. So I get why it'd be up there. House of Heroes was or is, I'm not really sure, was a really big band.
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
And it is a decent band. It was more, I felt like more Christian mainstream than Reliant K. and they had somewhat similar sounds at times and not so similar sounds at other times because, bands evolve differently. But it would not be my number one pick.
I wouldn't have even thought to put this on the list, to be honest.
I wouldn't have put it on the list, mostly because I forgot House of Heroes was on Gotee.
I forgot that they existed. They're just not a memorable band to me.
Yeah, there's like one song, In the Valley of the Dying Sun. I remember hearing that the first time, and it's on The End Is Not the End. And I thought that was the coolest song ever. Back when I heard it, apparently in 2008. I thought it was much sooner than that. But yeah. So obviously this list is very subjective. It's not like they missed anybody, of course. That's probably I don't know how many bands that is. That's probably like 18 to 20 bands. We did not count the number of different bands there are in this list. But definitely they didn't miss any famous or important Gotee artist or album.
I'll tell you what's missing real quick. Again, I'm disappointed that they left off John Rubin's Are We There Yet? And I'm disappointed they left off Relient K's Two Lefts.
Discography?
Well, Two Lefts don't make a right, but three do. And exactly, yeah. And I'm really disappointed they left off Paul Wright. Do you remember Paul Wright?
Oh, yeah, Paul Wright.
From
also
Sunrise
forgot on Gotee.
Yep, he was on Gotee. He had, I think, one album on Gotee, and then he left and did something else. Did like a reggae pop rock band called Root Down, I think.
Okay.
But I miss Paul Wright being on this list. The most glaring omission I can think of is Jennifer Knapp.
What? Jennifer Knapp? Well, obviously, if they missed Jennifer Knapp, she was not on Gotee. Hold on, let me check. Oh my goodness, she's on Gotee for all of her albums until, oops, did I hit something or did you hit something?
I did. I'm going to it right now. I'm going to her profile on Jesus Freak Hideout to just sort of see how well they've kept up with Jennifer Knapp, which is not very well, seeing as how she's put out at least one more album since letting go.
Look, see, we got Gotee for Kansas, Gotee for Lay It Down, Gotee for, wait, what? Oh, is this why Jesus Freak Hideout is pretending like she doesn't exist?
I think so. Yeah. Kind of disappointing that politics would get in the way of putting an objectively one of the best Gotee albums, Kansas, on the list at all, omitting it completely and not even.
Yeah. Here's what I say about this. If this album was number one, I would probably be like, I don't know if I'd call it number one, but I get where you're coming from. And it's not even number 25. And it's just straight up because, oh no, she's a lesbian. We can't have her on our Jesus album. And so to that I say, come on, Jesus Freak Hideout. Yeah. Be real. You can't be taken as a serious review site if you're not actually going to review seriously. Yeah. But of course, Jesus Freak Hideout is also one that I've seen them say like, oh, well, this song right here has this line that questions faith and therefore it's bad. So what do you expect from what I guess is a super conservative site?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just unfortunate and disappointing to me that they would leave off Jennifer Knapp for clearly political reasons.
And not even like, it's weird that they would. It's weird that they would do that. Like, what a weird thing to say. Like, she's lesbian, therefore she can't be on this list. Like, if that's your politics are bad.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's all we have to say about that. Overall, honestly, a pretty mediocre showing for a top 25 list of one of the most important Christian labels of all time. So
yes,
that's it. Thanks
I'm
for
waiting
watching. What's that?
I said I'm waiting for their essential list. The essential, the label, not essential as in the adjective.
Oh,
I just realized that.
Maybe when we get to their 30th year anniversary of Tooth and Nail, we can see what they put out for that as well.
Ooh.
So stay tuned
Bunch
for
of
that.
bands I don't know. Okay, well, yeah. Thank you for watching this very unique and I guess the beginning of in-pencil music
Yep.
type reviews and videos.
All right.
I've been Jess.
I've been Adam. Talk to you later.